Betty Boop's Bamboo Isle is on its own a relatively interesting cartoon, a little bit stereotypical here and there, but not so horrific. But I watched this after I watched a cartoon that came way after this, and in the other cartoon, the name of which I can't remember, but it's a celebration of Betty Boop cartoons, and we see her inking up, as in putting black ink on her face, and then jumping into this cartoon. And then we see a clip from Betty Boop's Bamboo Isle where she has blacked up to become this hula dancer on an island. And because I had that in my head, it kind of coloured my interpretation of this in a very negative light, because instantly I knew that they had blacked her up, having watched that cartoon. So it's definitely very interesting with that in mind. I'd love to know if you saw it first and didn't kind of have your thoughts already coloured by that. How did you find it? The narrative is fair enough. It starts off pretty much with Bimbo in a boat, and he's singing a song as Betty Boop plays him a song on the ukulele, and they're floating along the river, and everything seems to be quite gentle. And then they approach a waterfall, and they're rescued from the depths of this waterfall just before they fall over, and they end up meeting this very stereotypical tribe. And some of the characteristics of these tribespeople are stereotypical. Some of them are not so bad. It's not the worst cartoon I've ever seen like this. And Betty Boop ends up doing a hula dance. And, I think her movements are very fluid. I do have to give the cartoon credit for it. There's a lot of synchronized music and dance moves, especially the clapping. Some of the characters do some clapping in their dance routines, and visually it looks brilliant, and the sound that goes with it is really great. So that aspect of it, I thought, it actually worked quite well. And Betty Boop doing the hula, she looks great. I think she looks pretty good. There were actually some questions. If you do some Googling around this, there are people who ask, what colour is Betty Boop's skin meant to be? Because there are cartoons like this where she has darker skin, whereas ordinarily she has kind of a much brighter white face, and the animators kind of went back and forth to fit in with whatever was appropriate for that cartoon, whatever her natural culture would depict in that situation, and that in itself is absolutely fine. But as I said, the cartoon that aired after this, the name of which I can't remember, but you'll know what I mean if you've seen it, they did show her blacking up with ink from an ink pot and then jumping into this picture, and it's put me in a bad frame of mind for it. So it's not amazing, it's not terrible, it's good enough. The editing is good, it's well edited, everything is synchronized beautifully. Some of the depictions are not too bad, some of them are a bit more extreme. It's not my favourite Betty Boop cartoon. The setting itself just isn't that interesting, to be perfectly honest, but I enjoyed it well enough. If you're a fan of Betty Boop, do check it out. But if you're not that bothered, I wouldn't say you're missing out if you don't watch it.